Well, welcome today. Glad to have you here on this Zoom call with us. Today we're going to talk a little bit about leading coach basics and a couple of hot tips for it. I'd like to open up just for a minute here if there's any questions that that you have. I'd love to answer those questions for you and maybe incorporate them into what we're going to talk about today. So I'll give you just a second here if you'd like to jump in and ask a question. Go ahead and unmute yourself, and I'd love to incorporate those into our training or talk today. Anybody have a question they'd like answered? No questions? All right, well, I'm just going to jump in then and get going. One of the questions that we had yesterday that I thought was a pretty good question is, a lot of times the coaches are just not participating the way that I'd like them to participate. They're not as active as I'd like them to be in the groups, and I just am a little worried about that. So I'll go ahead and cover that. Have any of you had a little bit of a concern over activity levels in your Coach Basics group? I see a few head nods there. Yeah, there's a few of you. Okay, so let's go ahead and cover that as a beginning topic because it's important for each of those coaches as they get started in a Coach Basics group to participate, to learn, and to become a little bit better coaches through the Coach Basics training. So it's a good thing for you to be a little bit worried if there's not involvement and if there's not a little bit of activity. So one of the things that we can talk about here to help drive activity, and I'll cover a couple of different things here, but we'll start with one topic here, and that is to stay engaged in the process as a leader. This isn't one of those things where you can just set it and forget it and have your Hootsuite do all the work and do that. So as you engage as a leader, and as you are excited about Coach Basics, you're excited about your coaches getting in and performing well, they will pick up some of that energy from you. So don't just upload your content, walk away, and hope that they come away with great learning and they complete this course all on their own. Your coaches are going to need a little bit of help along the way. And as you post, as you comment in your boards, and as you really help those coaches along, you can drive them to excitement. You can drive their passion through your own activity. So throw some things out there. One of the things that I would say is make your group exciting. This doesn't just have to be all Coach Basics all the time. It doesn't have to be just learning every second of the day. Put some posts out there that are exciting for your coaches. Maybe put some things that are fun out there. You could ask, maybe what was your favorite vacation you've ever been on, or where's a dream place you'd like to go. Create some excitement around different posts in your group, because this at the end of the day, this is about having fun. This is about building a business. So there are multiple facets of joining a Coach Basics group and joining your team. I don't know if you remember a couple, almost probably been a month ago now, there was a wake-up call, and it talked about reasons that coaches are coming in and that you as a leader are part of that equation. I think that they mentioned you're out there selling yourself. And the idea of that is that as you are a coach, each of your coaches jumps in and joins because of you. You are part of that equation. So make sure that you are involved. Make sure that you make this Coach Basics the way you would be. So a little bit of it is put a little bit of yourself into it. Make it a little bit of fun. Maybe we've got Diane over here. Maybe she's an avid mountain climber. and she loves to do that, and she's got a few coaches that like mountain climbing. Well, Diane doesn't have to exclude all of that from her coach basics. Make it exciting. If you know your group has certain things that they like, you know, if they're like Lena, maybe Lena's a hula dancer and she just loves that. She's got a bunch of hula dancers on her team. You know, whatever it is that you do, bring it to your coach basics and make it fun and exciting for your coaches. We don't want this to be a drudgery or anything that they feel like they have to go do. Make it exciting and fun for them. Make it something that they want to come back to and look. So, you know, maybe Diane has a new picture that she had from her recent mountain climbing adventures that she's been on, or maybe Lena has a tip or two that she can put out there that helps this group to be more engaged and more excited about Coach Basics. One thing too is let's look at maybe lack of participation. So Amanda has a new coach in the group, and Amanda is really excited. Like, this coach, Sally is her name, right? Sally is doing really well, and Sally just was really excited about starting Coach Basics, and all of a sudden Sally just kind of quits posting, doesn't really participate in the group, doesn't really turn out to be the coach that Amanda thought she was going to be. And so when that happens, there's a few different things you can do. One is just kind of sit back and go, wow, what happened? What happened with Sally? Why is she not doing this? You can send her a few Facebook messages. You can try and follow up. You can try and be all these different things. And she just doesn't respond. Well, one of the things that I would suggest in a case like this, or in any case where a coach just isn't really performing the way you think that they want to perform, I would suggest to pick up the phone, get on the phone and call them and talk to them. Now, does that seem a little scary? Maybe a little scary. Pick up the phone and call them? No, not too bad. I see some smiles. Maybe yes, maybe no. It might be a little intimidating, but pick up the phone and call them. There's something that comes from that personal interaction that you have with each of the coaches. And as you pick up the phone, there's a way for you to resolve concerns that this coach may have. So maybe Amanda's new coach, Sally, is just like, you know what, I have a sick baby and I just can't give it the time. And so Amanda calls her up and, you know, tells her, you know, wow, that's tough. I feel for you. I've had sick kids before, and that is just not any fun at all. And so as Amanda works through that, she can figure out, okay, well, let's see what we can do to maybe modify what we're doing here to help you out, or let's just talk through it, and let's maybe put you in next month if this is just really too tough for you. So be understanding of a coach and their personal situation. Now, the other thing you're going to want to do is go back to their why. Look at why they decided to become a coach. Each of you has a why. There's a reason that you're sitting on this call here today. And there's a reason that you get up early in the morning or you stay up late to do your Facebook posts. So go back with your new coaches. Their why may not be as defined as yours. They may not know exactly what their why is. But when they joined and when you did your getting started right calls, hopefully you determined what they wanted or what they needed by becoming a coach. Maybe it's to get the car payment. Maybe they wanted to get enough to move into a new home or a new apartment. Maybe it's a social need or a social goal that they have. Maybe it's a health goal and a physical transformation goal that they have. So look at each of these coaches and know what their why is. And as they participate less, or as they maybe don't live up to the potential that you think they have, when you reach out to them on the phone and talk to them, you can bring up that why, and you can talk with them and understand better what it is going to take to help them achieve their goals. Um, so yesterday I had a call, and I had a coach that was on there, and she sent me a quick little message after the call, and I'd just like to share it with you here because I think it's very important to all of what we're looking at here, and really kind of sets the stage for becoming a good Coach Basics leader. And what she said is, my biggest takeaway from this call is that I'm not following up with my coaches to force them to participate in post. I'm following up to reignite flames and show them that I care for them. After all, I'm trying to build a team that works together to achieve success, not a dictatorship full of people to obey my orders. Okay, so this, she kind of came away from the call going, you know, that's something that I need to do. I need to make sure that I'm helping each of my team members achieve their goals. And as I help each of my team members achieve their goals, then my goals are achieved as well. So as you go into helping your coaches and wanting them to post more and wanting them to participate more in the groups, remember why you're doing it. Them going through Coach Basics doesn't really do anything for you. It doesn't make you a better coach. It doesn't make you do any of the tasks or things that you do in the business better. It's for them. It's to help them become better. And if you're helping the new coaches achieve their goals, they're going to be much more excited, and they're going to get up in the morning or stay up late because of their why, not because of your why. So as you look at that, each of you has a why, and you have a reason that you're here on the call here today. But those new coaches need to figure out what their why is. And that's where you as a leader can help them to solidify what they are doing, solidify the reason that they're doing it. So reach out to them. If they're not as solid in the business as you would like, reach out to them and talk to them about their why and figure out what you can do to help them achieve their goal. And let them know that the Coach Basics is just a tool that they use to become better at the skills that it takes to become a coach. And that typically will drive more activity in your group. How many of you here are having either Zoom calls or some type of a Google Hangout or something like that weekly with your coaches? We've got a few in there? Okay, excellent. On those calls, are you recognizing the coaches that are doing the assignments and talking about the things that are going on in your group? Okay, that's another way that you can increase activity in your group. When it's important to you and you talk about it and you focus on it, it will be important to your coaches. So focus on those things and recognize those things that are important to you. So if there's time in your call, share some of the posts, share some of the things that people are doing well in your Coach Basics group. Make sure to recognize the effort as well as the successes. So sometimes this Coach Basics training, there's a lot of effort that's put into it, and there's a lot of things that maybe these new coaches aren't quite seeing results yet. And so make sure to reach out to them either through the calls or through the pages and recognize that effort that's going on there. As you do that, you can really help them to understand what's important to you as a leader. And when you recognize it, let them know why it's important. So maybe there's a post on creating a great Facebook post, and you've given them a couple of tips, and they're supposed to come up with a Facebook post that is kind of their introduction to their Facebook group that, hey, I've become a Beachbody coach. And you've got a lot of people not doing it. Let them know that this is the beginning steps of reaching out to other people. Let them know why it is important and that you're excited to see their work and their effort. I do a lot of calls with the new diamonds, and on those calls there are a lot of new diamonds, and there's a lot of things going on. And one of the assignments that we give on that call is to write a vision letter. And I'm not going to get into the details of it, but this vision letter is something that is probably pretty tough to do. I saw a little smile there with Amanda. You've been through that, haven't you? And it's not an easy assignment. It's something that takes some thought. It's something that takes some real work. I mean, to put down this letter, and it takes kind of laying out your goals. This vision letter isn't just a little "I want this by this date." It goes into how you're going to get it and the steps you're going to take to get there. And so, when I look at that vision letter, it's a little bit tough for those coaches to go through. But the reason they go through it is because it gives them more clarity of where they're going in their business and where they're going in their life. Now, one of the things that I do is I make sure I get on the ball and look at those letters. I read every one of them. I post on them. I like them. Make sure that they know that I am involved in that. And I also talk on the calls and let those coaches know how important those assignments are to them. Now, there are still coaches that don't do them, and that's fine. But it's one of those things that each of the coaches that does it is better for it. And I even have a wall where one of the coaches posted, it was like a month and a half later, they posted their vision letter. Awesome. You know, sometimes timing just isn't right. She'd been traveling a lot, been here and there and everywhere, and it just wasn't right for her. But as you get to that point in your life or in your business where it works for you, some of these coaches are going to step up and they're going to take on the challenge. Now, following up. So let's say that I'm working here and Tiffany is one of my new coaches. I'm working with Tiffany. I'm excited about what she's doing, and I want her to just succeed. And so every day I'm Facebook messaging Tiffany, and I call her twice a week, and I'm just really trying to get her to move and trying to get her going. Pretty soon Tiffany's not going to like me very much because I'm just like overbearing. I'm pushing too hard on her. So this week on the National Wake Up Call, there was a little bit of talk about follow-up and how best to follow up, how important follow-up is. And they used an analogy of a waiter. I don't know if you've ever been to a restaurant where that waiter is just like always at your table. It just won't leave you alone, and you're trying to catch up with a friend, or you're trying to have a discussion with your spouse, or whatever the case might be, and the waiter just won't leave you alone. They're kind of annoying. And then there's also the opposite end of the spectrum, where there's a waiter that, you know, you're waiting for your glass of water to be filled up and they never come back. And so you're dry the whole night, and they're like, oh, this is so annoying. I just want a glass of water. So there's kind of a happy medium in there. And I think we've all experienced it with waiters where there's just right. They seem to show up when you need when you need some water. They seem to kind of be always watching, and they're very skilled at that. As we become better coaches, and as we watch those coaches in our groups, we can find where that good happy medium is. So, you know, maybe I'm not talking to Tiffany every day, but I have a conversation with her and I say, you know, Tiffany, I want the best for you. And, you know, I know that your goal here is to make your car payment, and I would love to help you make that car payment. And, you know, it's working together. I know we can do it. I've helped other coaches do it, but it's going to take some work. How do you think it would be best for me to follow up with you? You know, do you want me to push you every day? Do you want to push? Do you want to work together and become kind of push partners every other day, twice a week? How would that work best for you, Tiffany? And we come up with an agreement to where, okay, Tiffany works, and so she's kind of busy, and so 2 weeks probably good for her, and we can make that happen. So I'm going to check up with Tiffany twice a week. Whereas maybe Amanda's like, oh, Paul, I'm just ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to run, and let's talk every day. Maybe Facebook message is plenty, but we can run every day. So there's a different need or a different temperature for each coach. So find out what that is. And a lot of times it just comes down to having a conversation that's kind of frank with them and saying, you know, I want the best for you, and I'm here to help you succeed. And I don't want you to feel like I'm your boss. I don't want to feel like I'm coming down on you and making you do stuff. I'm here to help you achieve your goals. And I'm here to help you get where you want with your business. And this is where I understand that you want to be. And I'm more than happy to help you get there. I'm more than happy to help. Would this plan work? And lay out the plan with them and just say, you know, hey, I want the best for you. But, you know, if you don't want me to call, or if you don't want me to text, I'll leave you alone, because that's what's best for you. So work it out with your coaches. Find a way that you can help them the way they need to be helped. When it comes right down to it, you won't be successful trying to get them to accomplish your goals. Nobody gets up early in the morning and loves what they do to help other people accomplish their goals. You get up because you want to accomplish your goal. If it becomes your goal and it's important to you, you'll wade through deep water to make it happen. You'll walk through hot mud to make it happen. You'll do what it takes because it's your goal and it's something that you want to accomplish. So as you look at that, find a way to help them see their goal. Now, how many of you think that Beachbody looks a little different from where you are today compared to the day you started coaching? It's a little different. You see it a little, you know, in your head. It's a little different. Yeah. One of your goals as a coach is to help those new coaches get a glimpse of what you see. Now, not every coach is going to get it. Not every coach is going to pick up the baton and run. They're not going to do that, unfortunately. But as an upline coach, you can help as many as will see that vision. They'll see what it looks like from where you are. It's kind of like climbing a mountain. You know, you start, maybe we'll go back to Diane here. You know, it's kind of like climbing a mountain, right? Sorry, you're not a mountain climber, I'm sure, but but it's kind of like climbing a mountain. You start at the bottom, it's like, oh, that's a long ways up there. Got a long ways to go. And a few steps into it, it's still a long ways to go, and you don't realize how much is up there. But as you break into some of those clearings, as you get up maybe halfway, you start to see the view and you start to see what's going on. And it's pretty neat. And even though it was hard work getting there, you kind of want to share that with those coaches that are still maybe stuck looking up going, man, I'm never going to make it up that far. And so as you go up, try and share that vision that you see, share that passion that you have with those coaches, because that's what will keep them going. That's what keeps them excited. And whatnot. One of the things, who here uses video in their Coach Basics programs? Anybody use video in the programs? Okay, got one of you. All right. So as you use video, that's a great way to, what I like to say is, portray your passion for the business. It's kind of tough in just a little bit of text or a little Facebook post to portray a whole lot of passion and who you are and what you feel about your business. So as you use video, you don't have to use it for every post. Keep it exciting, mix it up a little bit. But as you use video, it gives you a chance to explain to people and to portray that passion that you have for your Beachbody business. I would venture to say that here in just a few minutes, we can feel each other's passion just by the nonverbal cues, by the smiles and the excitement on faces and those things. You can see the passion about a business that can't be sent over a quick little Facebook message. So spend some time. Let your coaches know how excited you are about this. Let them see your passion. Let them see who you really are. And those video posts not only mix it up a little bit, but I think they portray a much deeper message than just a regular message or a regular post does. I did have some ladies on a call yesterday that said, you know, we don't want to use too much because a lot of our coaches are at work and can't watch videos all the time. I understand that. You don't have to do everything in video. In fact, I think that's probably a little overkill. But as you incorporate a little bit of video here and there, it makes it exciting. It keeps it moving along and mixes it up just a little bit. So don't be afraid of doing that. Let's see. One of the things that I do like to talk about as well is the fact that these coaches are new. So remember that when you get going in your Coach Basics group, and try and keep things as, I don't know if I want to say simple, but keep them as basic as you can. Try not to get too many acronyms thrown in there. Don't start talking CBCs and business centers and all these different things without explaining yourself. Um, Remember what your first day coach felt like. There was a whole lot of stuff you had to learn, and there was a whole lot of new things that you were working around and getting used to. So don't overwhelm your new coaches. Make sure that you explain things to them and that they understand what you're talking about, because it's very easy to get lost in all the lingo and all the different things that are going on with being a coach. So remember what that is. I had a conversation just the other day. I work with some coaches one-on-one, and I had a discussion with one of the coaches. Yes, that was yesterday. I guess it would have been yesterday, maybe Monday, but she's putting together some training for her new coaches. I think she's a 3 or 4 star diamond, but she was putting together some training for her coaches. And she said, you know, Paul, it's kind of interesting how much stuff there is when you start putting this training together that a new coach has to know. There is so much that a new coach has to know. And sometimes I forget how much I had to learn. And she said she kind of really had to take a step back and realize that she had to learn a whole lot when she was a new coach. So understand that. Remember that each of the coaches in a Coach Basics group is learning a lot. They are incorporating probably more than just what's on the Coach Basics. Make sure that they have the time to, chew the food and swallow it, so to speak. A lot of times we like to feed with a fire hose. It's like, here, take it all. It's a whole lot of information and it's coming at you fast. So make sure they have time to incorporate that in their lives and do that. So that's another tip as well. Let's see here. I am thinking there was another question that I had that I'll answer that too. Maybe one of you has had that before. It was, how quickly do I incorporate them into a Coach Basics group, my new coaches? How quickly do I get them in? Do I throw them in after the first day? Do I wait a week or two? And that was a question I had. Now, I kind of listened to the group and let them kind of talk about it a little bit. And they came to the consensus that after that first month was probably a good time to start, because there's a lot of time with the GSR calls and waiting for their business packs to get there and a few different things that kind of starting in that first couple 3 weeks was probably pretty busy. Now, that's not to say that you're not going to have coaches that are ready to go on day one. You're going to have some coaches that are out of the box, just they're rabbits, they're racers, and they want to get going. And so be accepting of the ones that are ready to go and ready to run, but also be accepting of the ones that are going to be a little slow too. There will probably be some pacing in your groups. Some will just really want to rock and roll and go fast, and others will take their time. So be understanding of that and work with them individually. If you've got a couple of race cars in the group that are just really running and getting it done fast, help them along so that they don't get bored in the group. You don't have to hold them back because not everybody's moving at their pace. So help them to do what they can. And also don't be worried if you've got some that are slow and that aren't really taking it all down the first day. Work with them at their pace, and you'll find that they'll come around. It's amazing when I listen to the wake-up calls, how many of the leaders started out as discount coaches. And they're just like, we'll see how this works, and it's not quite the right time in my life, and I'm not ready to run with it. I like the Shakeology, I like the exercise. And then something clicks, and their why changes, and it's like, boom, we're going. full force forward. So remember that in your groups. You'll have coaches that don't seem like they're going to do anything. It's like, they're busy or whatever it is. But watch for those coaches that you see potential in and that kind of keep doing stuff, and foster those coaches and help them and teach them the best that you can. All right. Are there any questions now that we've talked for just a little bit? If there's anything, I'd like to go ahead and open it up for a couple questions, and then I've got a couple things to end on. But any questions right now? Any comments? Nothing?
I guess my question is, I do kind of put everything on autopilot where I load all the posts in the Hootsuite. And I guess my question is, how do I get more interaction? I understand like trying to comment and things like that, but maybe other coaches have suggestions. Like, do you guys post success stories from other coaches, like as extra video? Do you, I guess part of me is hesitant because I know that a lot of these coaches, I ask them, hey, do you want to be in the training? And they say yes. They have no idea what that means. And a lot of them are discount coaches. But I feel like I'm not going to not put them in because I know they're discount coaches because they can flip any minute. But on the other hand, I don't want them to feel overwhelmed. So how do I balance that, trying to make them excited about being a coach while still understanding that a lot of them are doing it just for the discount?
Does anybody want to jump in on that and help Tiffany with some of their experience?
I called out my group basically last week and shut down all posts for a week. And what I got from my group was, hey, why aren't you posting any more posts? And I said, well, I just assumed everyone fell behind because no one was commenting. And I wanted to give you a week to catch up. And their response was just, like, well, we just don't always have time to post, or we don't have time to hit a like. And I said, okay, well, that's fine. But just like in a challenge group, when it goes quiet, you get the feeling like everyone quit on you. And I'm a human being, and I get those same feelings. So in order for me to be engaged and excited about the group, I also need a little bit back to feed me as well. So when I see that you guys are falling off, I'm going to stop because I'm assuming you're falling behind and I don't want you to fall behind. So in order to keep it flowing, we need to keep the group moving. And at the least, I need a like, knowing that you got the post and you looked at it. And this week's interaction has been much better because I let them know what I needed as their leader, and then what I would give back to them when I got my needs met as well. And they responded very well to that.
I love that.
That's super helpful. Thank you.
Set the expectations. Yes, set the expectations out there. Let your coaches know what you want. That's pretty simple. If you're just looking for a like, that's pretty easy to do. And that's one of the things that I cover on my calls and the diamond calls. I say, hey, get out there and post, comment on these things. I want you to participate. I want you to put things on this board because, again, it's not for me. Diane, you don't get anything really out of that. You get a little feedback, but they're the ones that learn. They're the ones that you can say, okay, yeah, they're getting it. They're seeing it. So again, it's about them. You don't go home at night and say, yeah, I got 53 likes. Yeah, it was good. It's not about that. It's about the group learning and seeing those posts and participating. So yeah, go ahead.
And in today's post was because we took a week off, so ours is day 12 today, and it was about the Team Beachbody app that you put on your phone. So what I did, because a lot of people are afraid, they don't know what their customers are going to see. So I enrolled myself on my app and I screenshotted all the responses that I received, and I took a screenshot of the email that I received because they didn't understand why it was like a partial enrollment and not a full enrollment. And that got huge interaction from the group because they don't know that they can create sort of like a fake customer account and kind of test the system out. And And so I used, one of my non-business emails and just set up a customer account, and I picked the challenge pack I wanted, and I picked the flavor, and I screenshotted what it was and then sent the email. So now they feel confident about using that app because they see what their customer is going to get, and now they understand what that customer is going to have to do when they get that email to actually complete the registration. So now they can go with confidence. And I gave them an example. Like if you're at your kid's sporting event and you're talking to someone and you don't have time to do anything other than get their email address in the app, now they're associated with you and they're going to be linked into that Team Beachbody system. And then all you have to do is remind them to go finish the enrollment. So it is sort of a nice way to get a contact, but take it a step further than just putting it in your address book.
Yep.
And that made sense.
That pre-enrollment is magical.
Right.
I've seen so many great success stories using that pre-enrollment on the app, and that's a great example of feeding your group what they need too. You've found something that is new and informational for them that helps them in their business. One of the things that you want to try and do in your groups is always provide valuable information for them. As they get valuable information, they come back to it, and they continue to do that. So maybe your first time through a Coach Basics, you may be just new at it and not have ideas like that and not understand those things, but write those down as you have good ideas and follow those posts and say, you know what, that really worked last time. I'm going to incorporate that next month so that these coaches can see how to do this, because that's a valuable system that helps me build my business and will help them build theirs. So don't be afraid to take notes. This is a learning process. As you run each Coach Basics group, you're going to find things that work, and you're going to find things that don't work. Don't be afraid to modify and to change those things as you move forward. That's all part of growth as well. And this template, the system of Coach Basics that we put out there, is for you to customize. It's for you to modify and mold where you want. Now, the first few times through, you may not feel like you want to customize it because it's maybe a lot of work or maybe whatever. But as you grow and as you learn what you like and learn what works in your groups, customize it. Have fun with it. That's what this is about. I don't think there's any magic silver bullet in Coach Basics. There's not a magic post that they put out there that all of a sudden makes them the best coach in the world. It's doing the work. It's getting in there day after day, getting out of your comfort zone as a new coach and doing those things and learning that base of information. It really sets that foundation even for all your coaches, and it helps them learn how to do the skills that are required to become a good coach. So that's probably the most important thing, is their engagement on their own learning and their own personal development as they move forward. So excellent. Thank you for sharing that, Diane. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. Any other questions or comments?
My other question was, is there any plan to make it shorter? Because right now it's a 60-day plan, and sometimes I feel like 60 days is a long time, challenge group or otherwise, to stay engaged.
Yeah, I understand that. A lot of coaches that I see will do actually 2 30-day modules. So they actually have their coaches work through the first 30 days, and if they complete that first 30 days, then they will move them to a second 30 days. Sometimes that will shorten that window so that they don't feel like, God, 60 days, that's going to take me forever. The other thing that you can do is, I talked a little bit about pacing earlier. Sometimes there are coaches that may move a little quicker. You may have a jackrabbit that's just running, it's just heading out there, and it's like, whoa, can't stop them. They're just moving. And so you find those that are moving along, and maybe you have a different second half. So they do the first 30 days and you see, wow, they're just cooking. And maybe you have a different, little bit more advanced second 30 days, maybe an emerald to diamond type training, or something where they're shooting for diamond, and you can advance them into that rather than having them stick with the second half of a Coach Basics group. So be open to that as a leader. Be sensitive to that. And if you have coaches that are really running for the hills and really doing good, and just totally taking off with it, give them a little bit more of a challenge in that second 30 days, so that they'll have something that keeps them excited and moving. And then those coaches that are moving at normal pace, they can move on into the second half of Coach Basics. Again, you can customize that the way you want. I've heard of 45-day programs. I've heard of 30-day programs. I've heard of all kinds of different lengths of programs. But what you need to do as a coach is determine what works best for your group. And if 60 days is too long, don't be afraid to customize it and play with it a little bit. But there's a couple of ideas that I've heard from other coaches. The 2 modules, you have to finish the 1 to advance. There's a few other things that can be done as well, but those are a couple of ideas for you. All right, any other questions? Hey, you're welcome.
What I wanted to add with that was, I agree with you. It is pretty long, the 60-day one. So what we did was, my upline and I, we condensed it to 21 days. The 21-day fix was, we did 21 days of the Coach Basics, and it's going pretty well. And these are, day 19, I think, and some ups and downs. Like Diane, I think it was Diane said, some people didn't interact for a few days, and then we didn't post for a little bit, and then someone noticed it. So, but the 21 days, I feel like it's short, and it's something where they're like, oh, it's only 3 weeks. Okay, I can handle this, so.
I can handle it, yeah.
And all we did was take out the most that we believe was the most important ones. Like personal development definitely is in there. We believe everyone needs personal development. The most, I don't know, like a whole bunch of more like what personality type are you? How do you post your challenge group post? Share with others. Let's see your ideas. Things like that, so everyone can get ideas from. So we condensed it really small.
That's good. That's good. That's that I hear examples all the time of those things, and it's just fine. You just find what works for your group. Sometimes the longer format works good. Sometimes a shorter format gets coaches in and gets them engaged quickly. That's really, we're not here to tell you exactly how to do it. We're here to give you a program that you can use and that you can help those coaches come on and really get the most out of their first experience here with Beachbody. So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. I'm glad to hear it's going well, Lena. That's awesome. Very, very great. So kind of the first thing that, or the last thing that I'd like to cover as we end is that, sometimes you take that lack of engagement or that a little bit personally, and it's generally not about you. So don't feel bad if you've got coaches that aren't participating the way you would like and whatnot. Just as in challenge groups or in any other groups, it's not necessarily, you're not the cause of them not participating. It could be a whole different host of other reasons that they're not participating. So don't let that get you down. Don't let that put you in the dumps for the day. Set the expectations with your groups. And like Diane said, go back. If you have to have the conversations, have the conversations. Because most people react to that. Most people are like, oh, okay, I didn't think it was that important to Diane that I like the post, but I'll go in there and I'll like them when I read them. As you learn those things, it's very easy to be accommodating and to jump in there. So just try and, as you maybe think you're getting frustrated over that, try to ask them questions about what gets them excited about their business, what is exciting about being a Beachbody coach, what has happened that's good in your life, maybe not even your Beachbody business, but what's happened good in your life this week. Share some happy stories and keep it upbeat and exciting. Every one of us has good things that are going on in our lives. it may be mixed in with a whole lot of tough things as well too. But we have good things that are going on in our lives, and focus on the good things that are happening and try to make more of those good things happen. As you look at what their why is and what gets them excited about their business, have them share some of those things on the Facebook wall, and have them really get out there and put themselves out as to what makes them happy about Beachbody. So get out there, have just a great week. I know that you can all just really nail this, and keep fighting through the tough times. I understand that there's always good mixed in with the tough times, and there's always tough times mixed in with the good. But as you go through there, as you learn how to set expectations in your group, as you learn how to follow up better with your groups, those things will become easier and easier. I hear some great expertise already, and you're all doing wonderful things right now. So jump out there, keep doing the good things that are working, and if it's not working, don't be afraid to cut it loose and find something that does work. So don't be too frustrated with your groups. But I want to go back to that quote that I read earlier, and I'll just end up with this here just a little bit. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you know, what she said here, she's not following up with the coaches to force them to participate and to post. I'm following up to reignite flames and show them that I care for them. And when you reach out to your coaches and you ignite the flame that caused them to join and to sign up as a coach, you bring that back to them, you can help them and follow up with them, and they'll move towards their goal. It may not be at your pace, it may not be on your timing, but when you're helping someone else change their lives, when you're helping someone else achieve their goals, both of you are going to be happy at the end of the day. So I want to leave you with that, and wish y'all a wonderful week. Make it a great week. We got a holiday weekend coming up, so get out there and have some fun and keep building your Beachbody businesses. It's a great time to new people as you go out on vacation. This is a time to meet people face to face. So don't be afraid to get out there and put yourself out there, and just have a wonderful end of the month. So thanks for your time here today. Look forward to seeing you around and talking to you soon. All right.
So much for your
Thanks a
time.
lot.